Welcome to How Now, the podcast where we talk about how to live in the now. And here's your host, Kim Martin Raymond.
Peace and blessings, love and light, and welcome to this edition of the How Now podcast, where we talk about how to live in the now. I am your host, Kim Martin Raymond. I am a minister, spiritual life coach, and founder of Redefining You, LLC, where I help my clients to realign themselves, mind, body, and spirit. And if this is your first time tuning in to the How Now podcast, welcome. We are in season 2 of the How Now podcast. And this season, we'll be talking about health and wellness. We'll be featuring some special authors and those who are doing things in and through our community. So go to www.hownowpodcast.com, where you can click on the banner and you're able to watch our show on the How Now YouTube channel, or you can choose your favorite podcast platform and you can watch our shows. You can subscribe, like, and share, and then you can watch our shows in review, see some of the shows that you've missed, and get notified for our upcoming shows. So again, that's www.hownowpodcast.com. So let's dive in. And tonight we're going to be talking about purpose. We're going to be talking about how sometimes we have things that happen in our lives that cause us to pivot, just like this pandemic. This pandemic has put us in a place where some of us have had to go back and redefine what it is that we are looking to do. And sometimes what we think was our initial path winds up not being so much what we thought it was. And, for those of us who are Christians, we want to be obedient to what it is that God has for us. And so things happen for a reason. And sometimes those pivots lead to a more purposeful life and leads us into a space where we would have never imagined going. And such is the case for our special guest. So before we dive in, as is customary with the How Now podcast, I'm going to have my guest to introduce herself at this time.
Good evening. My name is Crystal Blade. I am a native of Decatur, Georgia, a business owner, entrepreneur, dream producer, and motivator.
Awesome. So glad to have you here with us today, Crystal. It is wonderful to, have a native Georgian in the house. There aren't many of you all here, so shout out to all of the natives of Atlanta. And Crystal and I had an opportunity to meet some time back. I was able to do some volunteer work through a mutual friend of ours, and that volunteer work took place at a place called the J. Blade Ranch. And that ranch is here in the metropolitan Atlanta area. Now, it's not out in the country. It's actually right here in, one of the major counties here in Atlanta, Georgia. And so first, we'll start off with talking a little bit about the J. Blade Ranch. So give us a little history on that.
Well, the J. Blade Ranch, we purchased it in 2017. I purchased it in 2017 and was not 100% sure as to what all would take place on the land. I knew that I wanted to have a cultivating space for creatives, for business owners, for the community to come and have a place to, uplift their spirits, kind of get in tune with nature, but also have learning programs and conferences and workshops. So I did know that that's the direction initially that we wanted to take. But since then, it has blossomed into so much more. And with the help of sharing the story and family and friends hearing the story, they have shared their visions for the land. We've taken some of those visions and turned them into reality. So the ranch is ever growing. There's a lot going on over there, and I definitely can't wait to share what we're doing for our community.
Awesome. And so you bought the land initially with the thought of using it for the community in some way. I love that you said that you use it for creatives and for, a green space and a space for people to be able to do things within the community. And, that's a wonderful vision in and of itself, because, when we think about communities, we think about, centers, we think about basketball, we think about swimming, tennis, you think about, different types of activity centers, you think about the YMCA, especially when you're talking about in town, because
Right.
there aren't many opportunities to find large spaces to be able to do things, like you said, for creatives outside of that small confined space of like a building. So
Right.
I'm sure it was exciting to be able to purchase a space that was expansive enough for you to even be able to have that initial vision of helping others out in the community.
Yes, we named it in honor of my brother, Jarrad Blade, who unfortunately lost tragically in 2016 to a drunk driver. And so I definitely encourage everyone not to drink and drive. But Jarrad and I had begun create community initiatives and an organization called Blade Academy of the Arts prior. And we were already in the community, we're in the school systems, we're in rec centers and churches, and we were sharing our heart and our vision at these locations. And so since losing him in flesh, I wanted to continue what we started and honor him by naming the ranch after him.
That's beautiful and a wonderful tribute to what it is that he was doing. Of course, my condolences to you and your family, and at the passing of your brother, and being able to have this ranch in his name and to honor the vision and to continue, the work that you and he began.
Right.
And I know that that's something that is special, and I'm sure that he is smiling down on you all for all the wonderful work that you are doing. And like as I said, I had an opportunity to visit the ranch, and I only got to see a small snippet. We were doing some planting, and we're doing some gardening, and I didn't have an opportunity to get to do a full-on tour. And so I want to let you all know, our listeners know, that we will be going out. I will be going out to visit the ranch again, and we are going to do some recording. We're going to do a recorded tour of the ranch. And so I hope that you will tune in for that as the weeks go on. Now, we're probably looking to do that next week, to be able to go out and have you all see a recording of the tour of the ranch. And so like you said, it's a beautiful green space, and we want those of you who are in this area to have an opportunity to come out and visit the ranch and to see the work that is being done. So with that being said, like you said, you were talking about the Blade Academy of the Arts and the things that you were doing there. And then, like I said, now it turns into a ranch. Now on this ranch, do you have animals? Do you have, because when you think about a ranch, I think about horses, and I think about, farm animals and things of that nature. So do you have animals on your ranch?
We do. We have horses that live there. We have goats that live there, as well as chickens. And this is a part of when I spoke about not that being a part of the plan, that was definitely part of it. Growing up, I actually was very afraid of animals. I would have been the first thing running when an animal was coming my way. So to now be the owner of land as well as livestock, it is a huge learning curve, and I'm falling for them. They're really cute. They are they relax you, they are funny. they have little characters. And so again, in coming over there, not only do you get to connect with, nature in regards to green space, but you also get to see the characters of these little goats or of the horses. So my uncle actually is how the animals came about.
Okay.
Again, I began to invite family and friends out to show them this acreage of land. We have 9 acres,
Wow.
and share with them what I was envisioning or what was placed in my spirit to do with the land. And they began, and my uncle said, "Well, what do you?" He's a horse owner, and he said, "Well, what do you think about me bringing my 2 horses over here to live?" And I said, because currently at the time he was horse boarding at another location. And I told him, "Hey, go for it. This is something myself and my brother growing up, we would always talk about having land and being able to ride horses and train others to ride horses. And I saw this to be the perfect opportunity. So I told him, let's go for it." Well, shortly after that, he came with the next idea. "Well, what do you think about goats?" And I was like, "I didn't think about goats." Tell me about them.
Right.
And he began to share his knowledge of goats and how they have several purposes that we could utilize them for, from cutting your lawn to wrenching them out to cut others' lawn, also to, for consumption, and then the petting zoo. When we have events over there, if anyone wants to, rent the animals, then they can either ride the horses or they can, feed the goats. So he shared those thoughts with me. I thought they went right along with, community, green space, teaching, agriculture. And I told him, let's do it. So we went and bought our first goats. Then shortly after that, he said, "Well, what about chickens?" And I was like, "Oh my God." And again, each time he presented these animals, it wasn't like let's just get them. My family knows that there has to be a purpose behind things that we're doing. And so again, he told me what the purpose of the chickens would be. We could consume their eggs, as well as we could sell their eggs, as well as they could be a part of the zoo, the petting zoo as well. And so I saw yet again another opportunity for it to fit right into the vision that was coming to the forefront. So since then we actually have more horses. We do horse boarding. So there are cowboys that allow their horses to live there. And at the time, I think we have about 5 horses on the land.
Wow. So you see, so that's huge. You went from just having that green space, you went from talking about creatives and arts and planting to all of a sudden having livestock. And there's, like you said, there's a learning curve to that, because I mean, it's not like having a cat or a dog where you just have to walk in or just feed it. There I'm sure are other things that you have to do. You have to have the proper facilities to be able to house these animals. I'm sure that there are because you're in town, I'm sure that there was some type of paperwork that had to go along with making sure that you can legally house them and how they're to be housed and everything else like that. So just like you said, a huge learning curve. I know you thank God for your uncle and his knowledge, because it's interesting when you could talk about something happening, but then you have to know that there's a process involved as well. And what is that process, and how long does that process take? And, when can you start having it? You just can't say, "Oh, well, just come on down." I'm sure there was a little bit more to it, with regards to making sure that you can do that.
Yes. Like you said, from the making sure they have the proper environment to making sure that they are being treated periodically, because eating can, there are sometimes parasites and things that can gather in their bodies, to clipping their hooves, to cleaning them, cleaning out their homes, the little sheds in which they house themselves in. at times, to even understanding that, like women, when the females have their babies, which are known as kids, the goats we're talking about, um, then you need to put nutrients back into the female. Excuse me.
No worries.
You need to provide nutrients for the female to give her strength, because the kids are sucking on her to feed.
Right.
And so I didn't know that at first. It's just like from what I hear about females, the nipples were getting, you have to take care of
Right.
them,
Right.
and all of this was a learning curve. But I was even able to not only witness the birth of many goats at this point, which the first goat that was born there, we named him JB, which again is after Jarrad. So Jarrad is all throughout the land. We got a Christmas tree on there, we've named Jarrad. We've got a goat that's named JB. We're going to put roads on the land because we want people to learn about him. Of course, family and friends are aware, but there's a whole world out here, and in order for his legacy to live on. So you will, when you come to the land, you will learn about him. You will see these initials, and eventually you'll say, well, what is this JB I'm seeing? Or why do you name it J Blade? And then that gives us the opportunity to share his story with you. But we were able to see a horse be born. I never saw a horse born before.
Wow.
It was magnificent and amazing. And so again, it's nonstop. It's adventurous, but it is work. We do have to have someone tend to the land on a daily basis to make sure that they're eating and make sure that they're watered. And also make sure they're not caught up in something. They're very mischievous at times, trying to get out of the place that you've created for them.
Right, especially the goats, I'm sure.
Yeah. So you have to go. You definitely have to make sure that that they're being managed and watched over.
Yeah. Okay. So let's back up a little bit and talk about what you were doing prior to being on this, because it sounds like, with the livestock and with all of the activities that you're planning to do there, that takes up a lot of your time. So what were you doing prior to acquiring this land?
Prior, I am an accountant. I went to Mercer University, obtained my degree, and was blessed to go directly into the field after college. And so I worked in firms for a few years, and then eventually stepped out on faith and began Blade Academy of the Arts. And in starting that company, I had financial knowledge, business knowledge because of my accounting experience. So again, Jarrad and I, we would go into school systems and they may ask for a dance program or a fitness program, and we would customize it to make it a little more than what they knew that we could bring to the table. So if you ask for a dance hip hop class, I'll give you that. But I mean, we would call it international hip hop fitness. And at that point, we're exposing children to other cultures, to other uniforms, other ways of dancing, other areas outside of their more familiar community, but still giving them what they asked of us. And Jarrad, he was more on the athletic side of things. So he would go in and he would work with the fitness programs, nutrition programs, any sports, whether it's basketball or football. He would teach drills, skills and drills, and just let them know some of the challenges that they may incur as they go up the ladder in their programming, their athletic programming, and what the collegiate level is it going to expect from them. Because he played football all 4 years in high school. He was the quarterback. And when he passed, they actually retired his number 2 jersey at Lakeside High School. That was very honorable, and also the very first time that Lakeside had ever retired a jersey. So that really spoke volumes to what he provided to that school. But he also played on a collegiate level. So he wanted to make sure that when he worked with the boys or the students, that he was helping produce scholar athletes, that they understood that, yes, academics is important. And if, an ailment or injury of some sort happens, what is the backup plan? So we always would go in and again provide what they were looking for, but we always brought a little extra. If I came in and taught a dance class, being that I'm an accountant, I'm going to share some financial literacy with the students. I'm going to ask them, okay, if you want to dance or if you want to play this sport, how do you plan to live from that? What kind of home are you looking for? Because, if you want to be a teacher, it doesn't matter. I would never discourage them, and Jarrad wouldn't either. But let's talk about what that lifestyle looks like, because you can live that, but you may still have to pick up, another opportunity that could grant you the lifestyle. So just making sure that the students could see beyond the now and the today and have a better plan for their futures.
Absolutely.
But never killing their dream.
That is awesome. And you see, and it's wonderful because just like you said, you went into accounting. That was, you were able to go into the field right after you graduated. And now you're still able to use those skills. You're able to use those skill sets and being able to, effectively run the ranch and to be able to, to develop scholarships and things for the children that will be passing through there. And so it's wonderful. I bring that up because, sometimes we don't always start where we're, or stay where we started. And just like I said, you went from, crunching numbers and working in working in big business to turning around and working on a ranch and doing something that followed even more of your passion. And just like you said, to be able to get over your fear of animals to now having livestock that you're interacting with on a daily basis says volumes, but it just lets us know that we are not pigeonholed by the things that we may start out doing initially. And we never know how we can take those same skills and transfer them into something that is just as meaningful to us, as what we thought, we were supposed to be in. You could have you could have stayed in the business world and continued and I'm sure it would have been very lucrative for you to do that. But to be able to see this land and to say, okay, I see so much more for this space. I see so much more for how this can serve my community and how it can serve you. So let's get a little personal here in saying how has running this ranch, how has it changed you personally?
Well, it's changed me a lot in regards to, again, I am unfamiliar. I'm in unfamiliar territory, and I am a new Black business farmer. I am officially a Black woman and a farmer, and that is a minority, and it's kind of a big deal. So it's a new accolade. I'm a landowner. Never owned land before. All of these are new learning curves, and but it's changed me where it's a space even for myself to slow down from the hustle and the bustle of our city. And I'll go out there and just connect. Of course, I could go to your local park, but why not go to the J Blade Ranch?
That's right.
So yeah, it's a tranquil place for me. I've grown. I've been able to establish additional streams of revenue through, again, the horse boarding, through truck parking. We have truck parking over there, and then event rental, event space. We rent the land out for events. We've had weddings, Halloween festivals, screen on the greens, We have volunteer days where people are coming out and helping us develop the land, because when I purchased it, it was overgrown. It was an empty lot for like 20 years.
Wow.
So when we purchased it, it was full of trees. It was totally overgrown, and it was very difficult to see a vision. When people would come over, all they saw was, "Oh my God, you have a lot of work to do." So, but there are some people who are visionaries, and they were able to help me slowly just knock a little bit down at a time. So it's been exactly what we want it to be. It's brought us together, even in the pandemic. That's when the ranch was birthed. Again, when I bought the land, I didn't know it was going to be a ranch. It became a ranch in 2020. I mean, in 2019, I think the first horses came, and then the goats, and so it was all right there in the pandemic. And we were a little secluded, of course, because the world was shut down, but we had our own little space, our own little incubator,
Right.
and we really connected. And so I love it. I love it. It's a lot of responsibility. I don't want to shun anyone away from doing it, but I also, like to be forefront and say you have to start something, and you don't quit. You push through, you revamp your ideas, but and understand that it all happens in phases. The saying is Rome wasn't built in a night or in a day.
Right.
And so you have to understand that, because it can be overwhelming. But it's a beautiful something to be able to sit back and see the development and the growth of it. If I showed you pictures from the beginning till today, you would be in awe of how far we've come.
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, and it's beautiful, because as I'm listening to you talking about, the process, and that's what it is, as with anything that we're doing that we're unfamiliar with, it's a process. And the one thing I love is, even when you were talking about your uncle and talking about the fact that when he bought those, when he was talking about bringing those animals, he had to bring you some knowledge about those things too. What that shows me is the open-mindedness that you had to have, because your fear of animals could have been like, "Oh no, you can't bring that horse, goat, pig, chicken. You can't bring nothing of it here because I'm afraid,"
Right.
And so for you to just be able to say that I'm going to step out on faith, and I'm going to say, "Okay, so tell me about this." And tell me what the process is, and being open to learning something that you didn't know is such a big part of the process itself, because you could have shut down all aspects of that. You could have turned around and said, "Hey, we're just going to have it be a facility where we can do athletics, and where we can do some, creative things. We can do some gardening, but, animals, we're not doing that."
Right.
So for you to be able to even, have the open-mindedness to say, "Okay, we have 9 acres here. How can we maximize this space?
Yes.
What are some things that we can do?" And being open to people's suggestions. Those things are so important when we're seeking to do something, because like you said, Rome was not built in a day, and there is no I in team. There's not anything that you could have done in and of your own ability without the assistance of friends and family, and being open-mindedness enough to at least listen to some of the suggestions that they have. So I applaud you for that. So as we're talking about, let's talk a little bit more about the vision that you have. So you said that you took over the land 2019, 2020. And like I said, you started having the animals there. You've got the trucks that can park there. You've got, where others can house their horses there as well. And so what are some things that you're looking to do moving forward?
Gardening. We have a garden that we started last year, and we want to be a flea market, in a sense, or I should say farmers market. That's what I meant to say. A farmers market where, again, the community can come in and purchase their herbs, their vegetables, their fruit, their eggs, and then we'll have some forms of meat there, as well as my family. So I always am thinking of my family, but I'm thinking of my friends and my brothers, and then we're thinking even beyond that. So we will soon have our permits to where we're able to sell the food. Last year was the first year that we planted, and we had basil, lemongrass, chocolate mint, peppermint, chives, several different herbs, and we hosted an event called Paint, Sip, and Eat. And we took, that was our first harvest, and we had a personal chef. Shout out to Chef Rod, who came out and used those herbs and cooked a delicious cuisine with them. We infused some of the water with some of the herbs, and so we invited people out to come and partake in the food, as well as they painted. And the signs that they painted were signs that will go in the garden. So one person may have had a strawberry sign, someone else. So they didn't get to take them home. But again, because this is a land of legacy, we want people to feel vested. We want them to be a part of the growth. So as we continue to manifest this garden, that is, it takes labor. So we're constantly looking for volunteers or looking for assistance. But as it continues to manifest, you'll be able to come back and say, oh my God, I remember I painted that sign. And then years from there, you can bring your daughter or your child and just, let them see the history, and maybe they can paint a new sign, or do some type of activity that will embed them into the land as well. One of my biggest things is that I can't take it with me, and when my day does come, the land will not be able to travel along with me. And so without making people understand that they are part of this growth and allowing them, like yourself, you came and you helped us plant beautiful flowers that are what we call in our beauty spot. So it's an area where it's like a backdrop where people can take pictures and, have their memories. And thanks to you and that crew that came out that Saturday, that area is now developed. So yeah, we'll have more events. You can either rent the space and have your event, or you can attend one of the events that we're hosting. And we have ATV riding out there. Eventually, we want to maybe do some paintball or some zip lining. Just bringing fun, but also, like I said, educational programs as well. So teaching the community how to grow in a garden, or teaching them how to horseback ride. One thing I want to add is what was Jarrad doing before his day. And Jarrad, of course, we both did work with Blade Academy, but he had a company, and it was called Universal Services. And he would come into a business or an individual space and, maybe put up your security system, or mount your television, or cut your lawn. And it was universal. I mean, this man could do a little bit of everything. He could cut glass. He had a mentor that taught him how to cut glass. So he would install glass into commercial properties. He worked for the film industry. He was a part of the union. So he had a massive network of individual. And then he was an athlete, and he was a coach. So he did all of these things prior to, and we are utilizing the tools, all of his equipment, whatever he left us, it is being used as we speak at the ranch. All of his lawn care equipment, if he had athletic equipment, it's being used. Like I said, we are embedding him into this land. And when you're touching a certain exercise machine, you don't know it, but it's Jarrad, and so he's gonna touch you and rub off on you in some way, whether you like it or not.
I absolutely love that. I love that he is immersed in it, and that, like you said, his legacy is continuing in every aspect of that ranch, and he's touching lives even in his absence, you know. And so, you know, he's present with the Lord, but he's also, you know, infused in all that you're doing there. So I absolutely love that. And I absolutely love that you talk about the importance of leaving legacy, you know, through the community, that the community is also giving back to the space as you're giving to them. You know, I love that they made those signs, like they can go back. I know that when I bring my grandbaby to visit, I can say, you know, Nana planted those
That's
flowers
right.
right there. And I mean, it's wonderful to be a part of that process. So it goes, you know, I love that it just goes beyond you and your family. It reaches out and extends into the community, and you're bringing them back in and letting them know that it's not just our. I mean, just not just that's not just yours. It's
Right.
ours as a community.
Yes,
And
so
I
we have to take care of it, you
yes,
know. I need people to clean up when after themselves when they're there,
right.
treat the land with respect, because it is ours.
That's
And
it.
so sometimes, some people know that and others you have to teach that to.
Yes,
But we're all there to help one another be better,
that's
as
it.
well as, have as much laughter and joy as we can.
That's it. That's it. Because, you know, I love that there's an educational piece too, because we can teach them about conservation, teach them about, you know, how recycling and things like that. There are just so many things that can, you know, that can be manifested out of this space. And I just love
Mhm.
that you are taking the opportunity to share it with others. And like I said, not just keep it to yourselves. You could have just said, look, we're gonna take this thing, we're gonna put some houses on here for the whole family. And you know, you still may do some of that, but you know, you're saying, okay, how can we tap in? How can we take this space and you know, allow everybody to benefit from it, you know,
That's
in a
right.
myriad of ways. And so I love what you are doing,
Thank you.
and how it has, you know, changed your life and how it has changed the trajectory of your life. And I really want people to understand that too, that, you know, like I said, we start out with one plan in our minds and one thought in our minds, and then, you know, sometimes things happen that cause a pivot in our lives, you know.
Right.
You know, it breaks my heart, you know, that you've lost your brother, you
Right.
know. And I think about, you know, losing my daughter 14 years ago, and that is a pain that never goes away.
Right.
But we always take opportunities to honor their
Yes.
legacy. And
Yes.
so, you know, through my coaching, through this show, through your ranch, and through the programs that you are providing for the community, we're giving back in their honor. And
Yes.
so, you know, where we're sad that this tragedy took place, out of that tragedy was birthed something beautiful, something that others can have an opportunity to share with us, the beauty, the love, the you know, the work that they put forth in the time that they were here. And
Yeah.
so I, you know, that to me just brings unspeakable joy, and it speaks volumes, just to let people know that, you know, there are still things that we can do, you know, that may be outside of what we normally do, that can be just as beautiful, that
Right.
can serve and provide for others who, you know, are seeking a safe space. We're creating safe spaces for people, and I'm sure that people see the ranch as a place that they can come, some place that is local, some place
Mhm.
that is not, you know, hours away, that's right here
Right.
in the community, that they can, you know, expand and grow their knowledge right here. So I'm excited
Right.
about what it is that you're doing. I can't wait to come and do the tour of the facility and to record it and bring it to our listeners. And you know, that's why you guys make sure that you know, sign up for the you know, the How Now podcast YouTube channel, so that way you can watch the show, because we definitely are going to you know, go out and take a tour of the facility and all of the wonderful things that you are seeking to do there. So I
I
wanted
think
you
we're
to.
going to ride the ATV on the tour, aren't we?
Oh, yes, we are.
Okay. All right. I'm going to take her for a ride.
Yes. Yeah, look, I am so excited. I have never been on one. And so, I'm going to have my jeans on. I'm going to be ready.
That's right.
And it's so funny. I have to laugh because, when I came out to do my volunteer work, I came out in my little I have to laugh. I came out in my little black
fancy.
She said I was all fancy and sophisticated. Okay, no, you see what had happened was, okay, those of you who know I'm on my wellness journey know that I've lost 54 pounds, and so I didn't have any, and I ain't had no play clothes.
Right.
I told him, I was like, look, I ain't had no play clothes. So I had to go to Walmart. And so I had to bought a little black sweatsuit. And Crystal's mom said, no, ma'am. She said, why are you coming all fancy? I was like, I didn't have no play clothes. So this is all I got. So she went in her truck and she found me a t-shirt and some sweatpants. And I was out there digging in the dirt, having a good old time. And I posting, pictures from doing my volunteer work. And my mom called me all the way from New York, and she was like, "Girl, what you have on?" She said, "What was you wearing?" I said, "Look, I was playing in the dirt. I ain't had no play clothes, and so." Her mom was nice enough to give me some play clothes so I could be out there and dig in the dirt for real. And so
that was part of our learning curve too. We had to learn the gear to wear out there.
Oh, yes.
Of course, again, we've cut everything down now, but at one point, I mean, we had to have your long sleeves, your long, your long boots and pants we learned what to wear out there.
That's
so you
it,
come ready.
Poison ivy and
ready
all kinds of stuff. Right.
Don't come too fancy, guys.
Come in your play clothes, okay? Don't go to the Goodwill. I didn't know back then. I didn't know. Now I know. So when I go,
it's so ironic because you are actually wearing the ranch's colors, orange and blue. Those are our colors. So Jarrad's favorite color was orange.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. And it's funny because those are my high school. I went to Bayside High School. Shout out to Bayside High School, Bayside, New York. Our colors are orange and blue. Those are
awesome.
Our colors. So just happen to be wearing them today. See, it's amazing how it all works out, isn't it?
Connection. That's right. That's right.
Okay, so I want to do two things before we wrap things up. We want to let people know how they can get in contact with you, or how they can go about seeing some information about the ranch and what you all are doing out there thus far, or where you are on social media. So if you can share those outlets with us, we'll make sure that we put those in the description for the show when it airs. And then we'll have another question after that.
Awesome. Well, our social media, we have Instagram is J Blade Ranch. We have a Facebook, also J Blade Ranch or Jarrad Blade Ranch. And then we have a website called www.jbladeranch. So if you just go out there and Google, or if you choose to go directly to one of those social media sites, you should see what we have coming up, what we've done in the past, and then feel free to inbox us and let us know if you like to come out and visit, or like I said, book it for an event, a photo shoot or video shoot.
Awesome. Okay, so that's www.jbladeranch.com. You can go on Instagram at jbladeranch, and then you said also on Facebook. And you said it may be under Jarrad.
Jarrad.
Yeah, so we want to make sure they spell it right. That's right. Okay, so Jarrad Blade Ranch on Facebook. Okay, and then like she said, you can go about making sure that you DM them if there's any additional information that you need. And again, we'll be taking a virtual tour of the ranch real soon. Yeah, I'm going to go on that ATV. I'm so excited.
Exactly.
I cannot wait. Y'all know I'm a big kid, so I cannot wait to hop on there and take a trip because let me tell you something about these old legs. They can't walk no 9 acres. So we've got to ride on something.
Right. That's exactly why we had to get one.
Yes, and I'm so excited because another thing, or another fun fact here, I have never ridden a horse.
Oh, well, we have to
I
schedule
have
that for you.
never ridden a horse because, to be honest, thought I was too big, and I was like, I didn't want to break the horse's back, so
Right,
I
right. I
wasn't trying to
got
hop up
you.
on nobody's horse. But now I'm ready.
You
I'm
ready?
ready. So yeah, I think I'm
Okay,
gonna need to
okay,
hop on a horse or two. So yeah, we're gonna work
okay.
that out too, and we'll see about
All
getting that
right.
recorded. Look, y'all gonna get a twofer on this one.
And that's what we want. We want people to come out there and make memories, have new experiences, things you've never done or things you'd love to do, whichever one you fall, whichever category you fall into.
That
So
is
that
awesome.
sounds like that's a good
Yes,
idea.
that
We're
sounds
gonna
like
let you ride that horse.
that's it. So, like I said, so we have ways of getting in contact with her. And then my second question for her, which I always ask all of our guests who come on the show, is how are you living in the now with this pandemic still continuing to go on? How are you navigating in this space? What do you do to woosah? I know that part of it is being out there on that ranch, but what are some other things that you're doing to live in this now?
I'm eating better. I'm eating healthier. I'm eating more fruits and vegetables and less sugar, which is very toxic for our bodies.
Yes.
And I am in martial arts. I am a martial artist.
Okay.
And I just graduated to my yellow belt like this past Saturday. And I'm traveling. I am traveling a lot more and taking, whether even if it's quick, but taking little brief moments to enjoy life because although I've heard the saying that tomorrow isn't promised or that life is short, again, being that it was my baby brother, he was younger than myself, he was only 32 years young, and we no longer have him in the physical. My history is that of a workaholic, so I am consciously taking time for my health and taking time for relaxation by disappearing. I have to kind of get out of town to do that.
That's right.
But it's been great. It's been great.
And I think that that's wonderful, and that's a powerful lesson because
And always pray. I do not want to go without my spiritual connection with the Lord is definitely a lot stronger. I talk to him on a daily basis, several times throughout the day. I constantly ask him for guidance, direction. And when I take these trips, a lot of times I can get a little more clarity and I come back and execute the plan. So
there you go.
make sure you guys are out there praying, and not just for yourself or for your visions, but for those that are around you, for our country, for our children who are our future.
Right.
And so if we do not, no matter whether we understand everything that they're enduring or not, we need to make sure we keep our country, our world lifted up in prayer.
Absolutely, absolutely. Huh? You couldn't have said it any better. It's all about doing that. It's all about self-care. Even like you said, with all of the responsibilities on that ranch, you have to step away. You have to be able to empower others to step in when we need to step away.
Yes.
And we have to have trusted people to do that. And that's why it's important to have a powerful inner circle. It's important to have people around us who are for us and who understand that, we're not going to wear that person out. We're going to give them the space that they need so they can come back recharged and ready to go.
Right.
So I think that is powerful. And like you say, we ought to pray. We ought to pray without ceasing. We ought to pray for one another at all times. And that is what I will be doing for you, as I know you will be doing for me.
That's
as
right.
we continue to do the work that God has put before us. We put our hands to the plow, and you are literally putting your hand to the plow down all those 9 hands.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
So, y'all have that. They had that. Like I said, I'll take a rake for now. I don't know, but
a rake will do. Every
We'll
little
do
bit
rake.
counts. I promise.
Right. That's it. Come in your play clothes. That's all I'm gonna say. Is come in your play clothes. Don't try to come and be fancy unless you're coming for an event that you're hosting. Otherwise, come with your sneakers on, come with your jeans on. They can have a little tear in it. It's all right,
That's right.
Come in your play clothes and get ready to come out and assist. So, sis, I want to say thank you so much for joining me this evening. Thank you so much for telling us about the ranch and for sharing the legacy of your brother Jarrad and all that he sought to do and all that you're seeking to do as you've made these powerful pivots in your life. You know, I ask that he continues to find favor in all that you seek to do. You, your mom, your sweet mom. Give your mom a shout out. Give your mom a
Hey,
shout
Mama.
out.
Yes, my mom is my partner. She's the project manager. She's my mom, of course, and my best friend. So know that she is heavily involved and the biggest supporter that my brother and I have ever had.
That's it.
And I'm
Give her
really
give
grateful
her
for
whole
her.
government name. Give her whole government name.
Alice Jackson, Alice
Okay.
Pleasure Jackson.
Okay, Miss Alice Pleasure Jackson. Hey, Alice,
Yes,
we're gonna give you a little
yes.
shout out. Yeah,
Mwah.
we love you, and you know, look at the beautiful legacy that you're leaving, both here and up above. Look, you're covered, and
Thank
we
you.
thank you for the gift of your children and the gift that they're bringing to this community here in Atlanta, Georgia. So again, thank you for being here. Do you have any final parting words for our listeners before we go?
No, I just want to thank you for allowing this opportunity for me to come onto your show and speak about what we're doing and inviting us out. So I really appreciate you as well. Thank you so much.
My pleasure, honey. It is.
And your listeners for listening.
Yes, yes. Like I said, we're not through. There's going to be a part 2. Okay, look at me rapping. Okay, look at me. That's it. That's about all I got for the rhyming. Okay, but that will do it for this edition of the How Now podcast, where we talk about how to live in the now. And until we see you the next time, I say peace.